Anno 117 Pax Romana, the free demo is live. You can go onto the Ubisoft Connect or onto Steam. You don't have to pre-order or anything and you'll be able to play it. Before we dive right in, let's recap indeed what we can expect with this demo. This demo will be live from September 2nd to September 16th. You can play as many save games as you want or as many times as you want, but each save game or each gameplay is gonna be limited to 1 hour of playtime, which by the way, when I'm recording, makes it even harder. As I said, this is available everywhere, Ubisoft Connect, Steam, and actually Epic too, and you don't have to pre-order the game to be able to play it. We will be able to play the sandbox mode, not the campaign, in both Latium and Albion, and we're gonna have the first 2 tiers of population. So we know there is more than 2 tiers. We know, for example, in Albion, there is 3. That has been confirmed. In Latium, I don't think we know exactly how many, but I think it's more than 2 for sure. We'll be able to settle new island, do some research, etc. But again, this is limited to that 2 tiers of population. So there's still many things after. We're also going to be able to interact with some of the NPCs, but we won't be able to declare war. Player is also not available in the demo, even if it will be definitely available in the full game, right? We'll be able to do PvP, co-op mode, but it's not in this demo. And I was talking about save game before. Actually, you cannot save. You can play for 1 hour and then, whenever you quit, you have to restart basically. And contrary to the closed beta, which was under NDA, so nobody can talk about it, this is not under NDA. Anybody is free to play it, but also stream and share anything, which is why you're gonna be seeing quite a few videos from me on this over the next few days. And in this demo version, you already have access to quite a few options around your language, the display, interface, input, but also if you click on options over here, you'll see even more details, particularly if you want to change the sound. Lastly, before we dive in, I want to highlight that there's also a play onboarding video button over here. This is like a bit of a tutorial video that's made by another content creator. Now, I'm not gonna show it to you because I think if you're watching this, you want the tutorial from me. So instead, we're gonna do the actual tutorial ourselves. And I'm gonna share a lot of tips and tricks, and we're gonna play, as I said, multiple games to discover hopefully everything that this has to offer. So it is, let's dive in. The goal in this first episode is gonna be for me to show you the basics, and in particular to try to highlight a lot of the new things that are coming with Anno 117 that we may not have had in Anno 1800. We're going to start this for this first episode again in Latium because I want to just show you the basics, but for sure after we'll also do another episode in Albion, actually probably several episodes so that we can look at everything there too. Let's set sails.
So, you wish to be a Roman governor? Congratulations! The Emperor himself has deemed you worthy to take charge of these lands. Once struck by disaster, they're now ready for new leadership. Your leadership. Your story begins here, on a humble island with azure shores. Latium. Whether you dream of a bustling trade empire or conquest-driven dominion, success is never guaranteed. No 2 cities will ever be the same, as every choice you make shapes your city in your image. Govern well, and the Emperor will sing your praises. Govern poorly, and, well, the consequences won't be pleasant. Every decision you make will shape your legacy. So, how does one become a good governor? Let's find out.
Okay, we obviously won't be able to build the whole thing like this in 1 hour, but we're gonna get started with the first change. Is that here you have this button, you can also press space actually to get there. This is active paused. So we already obviously had paused option in Anno 1800, but when you were clicking on pause in Anno 1800 you couldn't do anything, right? Now we have actually the active pause where we can start building everything, we can make decisions, we can move troops. Nothing will actually happen in terms of new production, but that way if you are at war or you have, for example, a problem of money or a problem of something else, you can take the time to do this. So active pause, very important. Completely different from the time of the day, right? The time of the day, this has zero impact on the gameplay. This is just for visual. You can decide to be at dawn, at dusk, you can be early at noon, you can be at night, right? And that's going to impact just the visual, nothing else. I think usually kind of noon is best for playing, taking picture, we can change this. So that one done. We have, of course, the mini map here. This is a one island. We have our flagship, and we have over here our trading post. This is both a warehouse, but most importantly, this is where we can indeed kind of deliver new resources. Our ship over here, is called Nothing. We can change its name to, okay, this is demo number 1. We have, by the way, in many elements, right, buildings, ships, etc., you're gonna have these question marks over here, which is giving you more information. It is a bit weep because the game is not finished, but you can definitely get some more information. Our flagship over here, we can see it has a sail speed of 49 to 98 feet per second, depending on the wind, right? If the wind is behind us or not. And we have over here a different stance that we can choose. We can already send the ship, we can see some islands over here, for example, right? But do be careful that there will be some enemies, some pirates and things like this. So we'll have to be careful. As always with Anno, we also have, fertilities. These are here, that's not really a change. We can see the river slots and the mountain slots. That is definitely new. I mean, yes, there has been some mods and things like this with river slots, but we didn't really have them in the base game of Anno 1800. Now we have them. And then the mountain slots, right, these are gonna be for your mines. So here it is. We have then over here the world map, right? If we want to go to Albion, in this case right now, can't really do that. And this is the province map, so this is what we have here. In the future, when we have multiple islands, we can see them all over here, etc. So that's, a lot of the things that were similar to Anno 1800, but again, the active pause, that is definitely completely new. Now, another thing that is new is if you click on any of your resource, you can choose, as always, if you want to buy, sell, or maintain a stock, which basically means buy or sell, to a certain level, right? With the other AIs like traders. But now there is a new thing, which is really important actually in the game, which is all goods. And now I can decide to, for example, above 50, we're gonna sell. All goods above 50, we're gonna sell. And this is actually quite important in this game because now we have bonuses of productions. But those bonuses will only be there if you actually do produce, if the building, is producing something. And if you're full, you're not gonna produce anymore, right? So we want to sell actually. Okay, now let's get started on the construction. I've spoken quite a bit already. So we have over here our roads, we have the residence, the liberties, this is level 1, we have a warehouse, construction materials, so in this case right now we only have the timber, and we have tools. This is demolishing, moving, upgrading, copying, and cosmetic tools. So that's not really something we're gonna look at right away. And yeah, you can, as with previous game, also decide to place things over here into your quick bar. And similarly, I could place this one, for example, in the quick bar. Now this is a timber production, and similar to Anno 1800, this may be multiple building. In this case, we're gonna have the woodcutter that then goes into the sawmill. Now you may remember that this building here, the trade port, acts also as a warehouse. So we're gonna place that here. And actually you may have also realized you can now, if you click on your middle mouse button, or if you click on the comma button on your keyboard, you can rotate, but instead of just rotating by 90, you can also rotate by 45, because yes, now we have diagonal roads. So what I can do, for example, is here, now let's maybe make a clean straight road to this, but then if I want, we can also do here a diagonal road, right? So that is really good. You can, if you want, take it out completely. Say no, never. Oops, wrong button. So we're gonna make use already of the delete, which is also X, by the way. But yeah, if now, this is not selected, so if I do the same thing, it is not going to create now a diagonal one. Now we have access to it, so let's start using it. I think it's fun. So something like this, right? We have the road, and as we said, we're gonna want a woodcutter. There is also the timing, processing time, right? This is 30 seconds, this is 30 seconds. So we know it's 1-to-1 basically, right? You need to make sure you have enough trees. So if I put it over here, for example, there's only 36 trees. So the productivity is gonna be very low. If I put it over here, 81, and here 102, so that's perfect, right? 110. Now we do need to make sure that we'll be able to deliver those resources, because these resources here, or any resource in the game, you need to be able to deliver them either to a production building that's gonna use them, or better to a warehouse. So this is what you can see over here, the green overlay, right? If I put it there, for example, it is in range of the woodcutter, but not in range of the warehouse. So we're gonna move it slightly like this. Now it is in range of both. So it is going to be able, right, to deliver there. Cool. We do have a bit of workforce that is given at the beginning thanks to the trading post. You can see it over here. So that is also good for us to be able to start this, right? Because this is going to take, of course, some Liberty workforce as well as some maintenance, right? So our balance here is going to get into the negative. One is not a lot. We may want to get directly a second one, right? Let's go crazy. But the important thing is, again, we're gonna need 100 trees. So here, that's definitely not good. Of course, in the future, we're gonna have ways to make more trees, but right now, we actually don't really have that many options. So I think we're gonna go over here, just expand this slightly. Oh, 99% is not great. Damn. I wanted to have 100. Okay, here I think we have 100. Yes. Okay, so this one won't be actually in range. Damn. So we need to move this one for sure a bit closer, like here. And this is a first example of, what happens when you have diagonal roads. You see, it works there, but it's not very pretty. It is a lot prettier, if you put it here, or if we put it something like this. So anyway, we are going to put it in this case over here, and now this is in range. Perfect. Okay. Then second thing is, of course, we're gonna want a city, right? So for city, we have over here, we can also decide, by the way, to put the planning mode where everything is built as a blueprint, right, before being placed. We're going to also unpause because right now it's not like there is many things that we can do. And we can drag, like in Anno 1800, if you want to have two houses like this, so totally fine. So let's place something like this. And here is another new thing, is if I start my road and then I click on one of those houses, you can see it's going to go all around. So that is a really great quality of life. So we have a first Liberty, and if we look at them here, right, they're going to be able to produce some actual Liberty people and some workforce. It's not a one-to-one, or not always a one-to-one. But for this, they're gonna want some needs. There is a public service over here. We have two choices. We have the market and we have the tavern. We have food. We have two choices, the sardines and the porridge. And then lastly, we have the tunic fashion over here. We have the tunics and the piliers. And I say choice because these are actually choice. You don't need to give everything to be able to upgrade to the next level. You actually just need to give some. This is now unlocked, the sardines and the porridge, and they also don't give the same thing. So for example, sardines will give you one person and one income, while the porridge will give you two people, but no income. And so you have to think, and we can, sorry, to be clear, you can actually give both, but you don't have to, is my point. Why is my ship not moving? I thought we did send the ship to go all around. Okay, well, anyway, let's start with the fishing hut. So obviously a fishing hut will need to be by the sea. We can't really put it over here. So we're gonna put it there. But while we're doing this tutorial, let's actually make both of them. So we have now the porridge. The porridge will take 2 buildings, right? We're gonna have the porridge stand, which is kind of like your kitchen. And then we're gonna have the oat farm, which is an actual farm. So let's go. And this is where it gets interesting, because we may start to see some buildings, you know, having an impact on other buildings around. In this case, actually, it doesn't seem to have any, so we can place it anywhere we want. Now we're gonna want to try to keep the forest, so maybe we'll put it all the way over here. Okay. Oh, he doesn't have enough food, the poor guy. So we're gonna want a porridge stand, and you can see this is 1 minute, and this is 1 minute too. So that means we're not gonna produce that much per minute, 1 to be precise, but it's better than nothing. At least it's a 1-to-1. Being a farm, we're gonna need a cultivation area, or modules as they were called in Anno 1800, right? And so we can place them here. We can of course place them, you know, in different shapes. It doesn't have to be a square like this, but it, for this building at least, it does have to be connected. I can't put it anywhere I want, you know? So let's go, maybe we put one also on the other side, this, and we need 5 more, okay. Now we can't use this warehouse, this is obviously way too far, so let's build another warehouse, pretty big building. I'm gonna put it over here, cost some wood, but also some denaries. We can see our balance is going lower and lower, so this is also why we may want to provide as soon as possible the porridge that, not the porridge, the sardines that give some incomes. And yeah, we can see this is starting. You know, the supply, we don't have tons of supply. We can actually check if we're producing enough, but instead of Control Q, like in Anno 1800, it's Control W, which you can change, of course, in the options. We're gonna be able to see our people over here, right? How many people we have, and you know, the income and many other things. But I was more interested right now into my production. So if you look at my production here, the green is our production and the white is our consumption. So for example, for the wood, right, we're consuming 4 and making 4 to produce 4 of the timber. For the sardines, we're producing 1 and we're consuming 0. So totally fine here. This is going to start increasing slowly but surely. And when it is gonna reach 50, we're gonna start selling some, right? And same for the porridge, so all good there. We're happy. We have a quest over here. So people from time to time will give us quests. It is slightly different actually than in Anno 1800. I'll be able to show that in the future, where actually you're gonna be a lot more in control. It's not so much like you're gonna have to wait for people to give you quests. You're gonna be able to request what is called contracts. Okay, so a Libertus passes you, straining under heavy loads of timber. He carries the hopeful air of one who has recently celebrated his manumission, freedom from slavery. Despite his burden, he stops and hails you as his governor. How do you respond? We can seize his good, which is not great. Like we're gonna get obviously some resources, but people like their happiness will decrease, etc. We can buy. I don't remember how much. Oh, we have tons of money. We have 17,000. It's gonna cost 400. Or wish him well. So yeah, I think we're gonna do this. So he's giving us some resources and we're giving him some money. So this way we're gonna be able to expand a bit further. Speaking of expansion, we can see that we are definitely providing my food. It is green, it's actually getting into the gold because we're providing more than what we need. You know, we only need one of those two, we're providing both. So it's moving to the gold, people are happy, great. And with this, the circle over there, right, is a third of the way to being full. It will be when it's full, we can upgrade to the next level to be able to get all the 2 tiers that are missing. We need to do those 2, right? So starting with the public services, we just unlock them, so that's great. This one is gonna give us some happiness, and this one some money. Again, you don't have to do both to upgrade. But if you do both, it could help, right? So obviously you're gonna want them to be not too far from your houses so that you can actually get, you know, the bonuses. This is the circle you see here, right? The circle. We can, as always, again, rotate, right? In this case, I think we're gonna keep it like this. So it is. Now the people will be hopefully happy for the second tier there. We're gonna get some happiness, some money. Great. We have still some workforce. We don't have a lot of money though, so we're gonna want to try to change this. To be able to get, you know, the third one, we need to get 50 liberty. So maybe what we can do, right, is going into R for road. We can expand this like that. We can make it, you know, for now pretty basic. We can press C to copy this, place it there, then R again to make it all around perfect. So we're gonna double our population, which should still be fine for the production because we're not even at the middle, yes, so it should be fine, but that should enable us to unlock this. Here it is. So we have now the tunics to get 2 money, or the pileus to get 1 money and 1 happiness, right? And this is also what's hopefully going to get us to the upgrade here. So let's see those production chains. We have over here the hemp farm, and we have this, but this has an area of effect. What does that mean? That means any buildings that is close by will also give us more money. So of course, this is where it becomes interesting to put them actually inside your city, because inside your city you have a lot of buildings, versus here I don't have that many. So we will, I think, actually put it here, right? We will need a warehouse, but that's fine, that's not the end of the world. Let's build it actually right away over here. And we can check also for that one. This is also an area of effect of income. So that is pretty good too. We can put it there too. Both of these will require, you know, a farm or something. These ones actually don't have to be, and they don't have to be close either, right? We can put them anywhere we want. Like for example, here it's totally fine. We need to make sure that, you know, the trading post is capable of supporting so many buildings around, but one like this should be fine. So we add the fields again, right? And we need to check, this is 1 minute, this is 1 minute, so that's fine. This one, this is 1 minute, and this is 30 seconds. So actually, you know, you could have 2 of these for 1 of that. And in this case here, again, no bonuses to place it close to something. So we're probably gonna put it over here for now. And instead of field, it needs some pen, so sheepfolds. Okay, here it is. So that is good. That is good. And with this, those 2 will get started soon. And with that, we should have that one here finalized, and we can upgrade to the final level. To make sure that happens pretty quickly, let's click on fastest here, right? Free speed. Let's also maybe move a bit into the fog of war there. So she is basically an AI, right? She has an island over here. Actually, let me just slow down a bit. So she has an island there. She's built a bridge, a small city on this side. What else? She has a fuse production there, etc. And yeah, we can, so sorry, this was tutorials. We don't need to look at that. So if you click on this over here, the lighthouse, you will see new contract in 6 minutes. So I can't show you it yet, but this is what I meant before on, you know, the quest. Instead of having to wait for her to give me a quest, I'll be able to choose a contract. So we'll see that a bit into the future. And maybe let's go over there. Okay. In the meantime, we can go back home and hopefully we have started to, yeah, look at this. We are providing all of these. We can do a quick check that, you know, we're still fine. Yeah, sardines totally fine. Porridge totally fine. It's all looking great. Love it. Love it. So we're producing enough and we are ready to upgrade, right? So we can also press U, by the way, to upgrade. Upgrade a couple at the same time. And similar to Anno 1800, of course, we're gonna have much more complex production. We move from the timber to also have the tiles, to have the charcoal burner over here. So these are your construction resources. But we also have over here City Watch. This is a bit like services, like your fire station. I mean, we have the vigils to reduce or to increase fire safety. We have the Custodia to fight unrest, to increase happiness. And we have the Medici to increase health. There's gonna be a few more in the future, of course, but at least we have a few here. Unfortunately, they all require tiles, which you don't have, so we're gonna have to wait. And then there is the villa too, which will also require tiles, so we're gonna have to wait a second. The villa is quite important to create prestige, also to defend your city. This is where, this is what you will have to defend if you want to make sure you don't lose your island to other attacks. And yeah, we have our plebeians. I mean, you can see a bit of workforce of plebeians here, thanks to those new houses here, that will require different types of resources. They usually always want or accept, if you wish, the same thing you had before, like in this case the sardine porridge, but they also want new things. And those new things will provide more. So if we look here at the food, you can see there is 3 tiles, right? 3 blocks. Because I'm providing this one and this one, I have 2 blocks covered out of 3. This bread will actually give 2 blocks right away. Or this garum here will also give 2 blocks. So to get 3, which is the minimum, to go to the next level, I could give, for example, only sardines and bread, or only sardines and garum.
I can't wait to join your routine.
Hey Dorian. And by the way, Dorian, this is also a new thing or different versus Anno 1800, which is an AI that will only expand in Latium. It will not go to Albion. Versus some others, they could go to both, right? So that's something to keep in mind. And I always forget which is my line. So yes, I was just saying, right, you can have different combination. And of course, you can also just deliver all of them if you want. So here we can look at those new productions, again, providing different things. Like this one will provide 2 of population and 1 money, this one 2 of money and 1 happiness. So you choose what you feel is needed right now. And those production chains, of course, will also get more complex, where here we need, a charcoal burner, a bakery, a grain mill, and a wheat farm. And in this case here, we're gonna need the mackerel and the salt to make then this garum. But all of these, they require actually the tiler. So let's get started with this. Now the charcoal burner, the thing that we have to be very careful is that it actually creates health and fire safety, negative, like it's a negative impact on your health and fire safety for all of the buildings that are close by. So we're gonna want to put it basically in the middle of nowhere, but it also does require, a forest. So let's go maybe on this side. Perfect. Here should be fine. So that's going to create, right, some positive impact for our city. Okay. So it's gonna use, right, those trees. Yes. And it's going to make this charcoal. It does need a warehouse in range, of course, like always, like everything. So let's build one here. Good. Then we know we're going to need some clay. Now the clay is something that needs to be on a river slot. You can see requirements there says river slot. So let's do that. Let's put it here. And we have now a problem, or multiple problems to be precise, which is we don't have enough plebeian workforce because this is taking 4. And this was taking 4 too. And we also have another problem, which is that now our health is pretty negative, right? So we have to be very careful with this, which also means, like I was saying before, we're gonna want to then start making some of these, services here in the city watch, right? So let's actually put here, there, and maybe you can be this one. Okay, what else? So we've done this, and that means last but not least, we're gonna need the tiler, which also has a fire safety, problem. So we do need to be careful. We should put it as much as possible far from everything else. Now, you're not gonna be able to put all of those things on their own, right? At some point, you're gonna need a few things not too far from each other. But I'm thinking we can actually probably put it over here. Have a road that goes there and have a warehouse in the middle. Yeah. Okay. And the area that I was talking about before, it doesn't impact the warehouses. So that's not too bad. Okay, so yeah, we need these. I didn't check. So this is 1 minute, this is 30 seconds, this is 30 seconds. So we could actually have 2 of these. Again, we can put them next to each other, but it will actually create more malus. Oh, and I think they've changed that. The warehouse does seem to be impacted by the fire now. Okay, but still, I think we put it next to each other. It is also a bit more kind of realistic. And what we'll probably want to do is to put a vigil very close here to re-increase it, and also there, right? That's going to be a big bonus. It will require, though, as we said, a bit more plebeians. So we can do 2 things. Either we upgrade a few more of these, or we can expand the city there. But more importantly, what I can also do is I can buy. Right? She's selling and she's buying, but she's selling things like tiles. And this is 600. I mean, we have 12,000, so yeah, let's just buy it, right? And then sell to here to pick up something. Okay, I guess first we should probably deliver to my city those things. And while I was here, I can show you, the contract. So there is a contract which is just collecting 2 crates. It is potentially dangerous, right? 3 stars dangerous, probably because it's close to the pirates. We have 30 minutes to do it, and we're gonna gain this. Or we can deliver some olive oil, and you see the dangerousness, and the gift is very different. And again, this one here. So you have them, and you choose if you want to do them or not. So that, I think, is something pretty good, is you can choose. Same here, right? You want very different things. Let's go back to our city. I think by now we should have built a few things. That is not my city. We have 10 tiles, for example. So we could build our first vigils. And again, just to keep it kind of not just on the gameplay, but also a bit on the roleplay, we're gonna put one next to the things that create a lot of fire. And then we're gonna put one here in my city. So that's going to increase now my fire safety from -6 to +42. So that means it's pretty good, right? The chance is very small versus if you look at my chance of disease, it is possible. It's not crazy. -6 is not too bad, but it is possible. So we have to be careful. Okay, what are some of the next mission? The villa. So maybe we do the villa indeed, which is over here, there, here. Oh, we've spent all of our tiles. So please deliver those tiles quickly. We still have a few more minutes before this first session is going to end. So let me show you a few more things. We haven't really, progressed so far into religions and things like this. But hopefully you've understood now kind of the basics of our people, where the big difference is we don't have luxury goods. Instead of that, you have minimum goods to upgrade, and then you can give more. And all of those combinations make it pretty interesting to decide what you want to give and what you don't want to give. And the other big difference here is obviously, the fact that you get bonuses by placing some buildings in the right place instead of, having kind of your city on one side and your production on the other. They're talking about active trade over here, where we can sell some goods to Diana. Okay, I also showed you again before, right, that you are able, if you click, I always forget, if you click on one, and if you go over here to sell things, She obviously needs to come to buy them, or an AI needs to come, but that's something. What is that? Oh, we have low workforce. No, that's fine. I know we have low workforce. We should probably start making a few more houses over here. That. I think we should still be fine in terms of productions. Now that we've delivered all of this, we can definitely build a villa. We are able to move the villa in the future, so don't think too hard. But at the beginning, as you can see, there is a bonus of prestige for having you know, a lot of buildings around. So putting it in the middle of your city definitely makes sense. It's gonna take a second for this to be built, right? Because it costs quite a lot, as you can see, right? 25, 1000 denarii, 5. And yes, the villa is basically where you're going to defend from land attacks. So for that, we'll be able to have, you know, slots of specialists. It's like items. We have the militia also we can potentially already get. So we have the reserve auxiliar, we have the reserve archer, and the reserve cavalry. Let's make one of each. So we can click over here, right, and see all of these troops that I've just built. You can move them anywhere you want. I'm still not sure why this is not working, because I have the money, right? More importantly, let's try to make a bit more progress on this. For example, you know, make one of the first production. So be here, like this guy. It requires some mackerel, but we have that fertility on the island, so that's fine. We can build it there, make a road here. I may need a warehouse now though. So we build quite a few things. Let's build those two things, good. And then we need also some salt ponds, right? This has a 30 seconds. This was 1 minute. And this was 1 minute 30 seconds. So, you know, it is gonna be a pretty strange ratio. But for now, to be honest, it doesn't matter that much. And this one here has a huge income, or not huge, +1 income, but it reduces the happiness. So you have to be kind of, you have to think about it, you know, because my happiness right now is 58, so it's positive, okay, but it's not hugely positive. My money is in negative though, so we probably want some money, but again, you have to be careful, right? Because here, okay, I have a couple of buildings, so the impact won't be too big, but if I put it here, the impact obviously will be a lot bigger. Actually, we can do it, you know, if I put it over here, let's build it. Now my happiness is in negative. My money should increase. It should increase while it starts. So if it doesn't start, you don't get the money. That's an important thing, by the way, is you don't get the money, but you do lose the happiness. So I put it over here, or if I put it in the middle of nowhere, you know, it will have a lot less impact. So it's something to keep in mind. Oh no, sorry, you don't lose the happiness. Okay, I was looking at the wrong one. My bad, my bad. So I think you lose it only when it's producing, which is good, Okay, we're back to low workforce, so let's expand again a bit. We don't have that much time left, so I'm kind of rushing a bit right now to show you as much as possible, but don't worry, we're going to replay that one for sure, so that you can see more in the future too. We have arrived here at another one of those traders. This is an impressive one that is selling the sardines and the amphora, and also potentially some items. Okay, plus health from the sardine. Okay, fire safety, prestige. So that's pretty cool, right? A lot of interesting things. Now my problem is more that my money is still going down. So that's a bit annoying. And we need to deliver it all the way over here, so let's go. So yes, I need to try to get my money back into positive. This is not helping, obviously, right? 40 of denarii, so we may want to just kill them, because I'm not gonna get attacked right away. So let's kill them, that way our money is not perfect, but it's a bit better. It is 1 minute later, we have started that production over here, right, of the garum, and therefore my people over here are a bit happier. This is also providing a bit of income. I mean, it's just starting, 0.8 out of 2. It's gonna increase slowly but surely to 2 as long as we make enough, and I know we're making enough. And so we can see also that for the food here, we're fine. To unlock this one, we need 100 plebeians. So let's upgrade the city just a bit more. Here it is, we have it. So this is now services. The first one, sanctuary, is going to help us with belief and happiness. This is where obviously we're going to be able to start also the deity, the religion, while the grammaticus is knowledge. So this is for the research. So let's see, this is pretty big buildings, but yeah, definitely let's try to build. Yeah, we have enough, perfect. I'm getting low on money, but it's better than nothing, and this way I can show you at least those things. So we have over here the sanctuary. We can choose a patron for the island, one of the gods. Right? It can be Ceres, it can be Neptune, it can be Mars, and in the future there can be also others, but you need to unlock them. So in this case, Mars obviously will help us for military, right? So the military production in particular, but also potentially other things as you get kind of stronger into this, supporting this god. Neptune is helping us with the garum production, the sardines, okay, and Ceres with a lot of the more farms, right? So at the beginning, Ceres is a bit of a good choice in my opinion. This is going to then slowly but surely increase over here, right? You can see that the devotion is increasing. When it arrives here, we're gonna gain something new, right? So the shrine, for example, here is going to increase by 1. And then this is something else, right? Something else, etc. So this is good to start slowly but surely increasing it. And then next to it, we have the grammaticus, which is helping us produce some knowledge, right? And you can see our knowledge will help us for research. The research tree is sort of separated into 3 elements: the economic side, the civic, and the military. I don't think we're gonna have a lot of time in this episode to go into details, but the interesting element in my opinion here is it's not just about consuming knowledge. It is obviously, you see your knowledge over here, it's going to be important, but it is also about there is kind of prerequisites. So for example, this one over here, we need to have the Roman pass in Albion and a house Mercator before we can unlock this. Or if you look at this one over here, you need to have the Celtic path in Albion and the Smith to unlock that. Or this one here, you need the Roman path, okay? And some of them are a bit different than just choosing a path, but I'll show you that in the future. So yeah, we can start one if you want. It's gonna take quite a while, right? It says probably around 55 minutes right now, because my production of knowledge is only 87 and I need 4,800 for that research. But of course, we will have a lot of ways to increase that number. And with that, we are already almost at the end of this first hour. As you can see, we're good on level 2 for food. We're good also on level 2 for the public services. Now we would need to also get a bit more on the third fashion, which would unlock at 200 plebeians. But this is the classic Anno fashion too, where probably before we do this, we would make a bigger city. We would probably get a second island. In the next episode, I think what we'll do is we'll actually jump to Albion and we'll start in Albion. I'll show you how things are quite different over there and there's a lot of interesting elements for us to play with. And then we'll probably redo another episode over here where we'll really try to get as far as we can, with those plebeians, maybe do a bit more of diplomacy, research. Maybe we can see if we can do, I know we cannot declare war, but maybe we can find the pirates and see if we can have a skirmish with them. Thank you for watching. Don't hesitate also to tell me in the comments below any questions or things that you want to see so that I can cover them in the next few episodes. And I hope to see you next time.